Hello, and welcome to the second, the .2 Hollywood Metal live stream Necropolis tests. I am, your host as always is Luke. Jesus Christ, we'll get that. Hello, and welcome to the second prototype Hollywood Metal live stream test. This is Necropolis again. We're just gonna have a bit more of a go at this. Not a lot to say, really. The Archmage Abraxas tore time asunder, and this gap he fixed the Necropolis, the navel of the world. At this place he did his laundry. Too nice of him. More of this, oh jeez. Serious lag there for a second. Very Zelda-y pot smashing again at the beginning. Yeah, this is, still do the Dark Souls dance, I notice. Oh, your legs don't move properly as well. Skate around. Right, douchebags. Well, notice that this time I'm, could say I'm in a bit more of a rush. I'm trying to see what I can see. See, the trick with this is, of course, that, it gets much more difficult as it goes on, but it also gets far more interesting. And there's, I think, a problem with reviewers playing it for about 2 hours, getting the sensation that they've seen as much of it as they require, and then going off and writing about it. And I don't think that's fair with something like this. It's I suppose like all roguelikes, it requires getting used to. Oh look, a dragon. Like this is I'm not gonna say it's great. The way that the environments hold together, obviously because it's a obviously because it is a procedurally generated. It's procedurally God damn it! I will say that today. I promise you. Because it's procedurally generated, there's there can be a bit of difficulty in the level layouts being fucking nigh on fucking followable. Simply because there's not really a design philosophy that's been applied to them. Just because, you know, algorithms have no sense of class. I mean, I'm sure we'll get there. I've no doubt that one day we'll all have a sassy, effeminate algorithm to let us know if we're dressing poorly, but for the moment we're reduced to this. Alright. The thing I do like about this, at the beginning you are essentially just beating old men. You clearly don't really have that much. Like, certainly they want to fight you, but everyone's got a granddad who's up for a scuffle. It doesn't mean you should kick their ass. See? Trying to fight orbs. Not even doing a good job at that. A few more of them here than I might have wanted. I do like the Nazgul looking motherfuckers. I don't know. I do like the variation in enemy design. I know it's the only way that could be more generic. I understand is if you had to lure it into running into a wall and then jump on its head and beat it up. But I don't know. As a broken down, half finished version of a later enemy, I think it's quite interesting. I mean, what other game would prepare you for future enemies by presenting you with broken down, semi-finished versions of them? I mean, Dark Souls. That wasn't obvious. Yeah. You shouldn't be ashamed of copying Dark Souls. It is the equivalent of cheating off the smartest lad in the class. If you're not all that good at chemistry. I'm assuming we're in chemistry. I was terrible at chemistry as a child, and it's finally come back to haunt me. Right. Do like the visual style. It's dark and it's Alright, it will be a test of my enjoyment of this game whether that room over there comes out into being the same room as the doorway was leading to before, because logically, based on like Euclidean geometry, I'm definitely not saying that correctly, it should. But we are in a vaguely magical half dimension, so that's good. I like that. I like it when magical environments do not require to be. I like it when magical requirements don't make total sense. I think that's. I've never seen it to be a bad thing. I'm pretty sure that pink one is the paralysis potion. I have no way of knowing until I drink it. I'm about to. Wow, health lady. You just can't know. You just can't know. With magic swords. Magic swords are everywhere. It's I'm imagining in most fantasy universes for magic swords to be somewhat akin to like satellites, and that there's just thousands of them lying about, and it's honestly getting to about the time where people should start forming groups to go and collect them all, so you don't trip over. It can't be safe for children. You've got a little, I don't know, 10-year-old boy wandering about, finds Ethrod Gilgamesh, the Blade of Nations, and cuts his foot off. Like a landmine that'll, but you can't get rid of him. I always wondered about, like, indestructible armor in fantasy video games as well. Where does that end up? Like, is there just like a pit somewhere, just crammed to the gills with suits of invincible armor with mushed up guys like dripping out of? Because you hit someone hard enough, and it doesn't matter what you're wearing. Friggin' deceleration on your lungs will kill you. That is a mystery to me. What that means. Yeah, like you fall out of a gorge and suit of invincible armor, and it's not going to stop your fucking heart from annihilating your sternum. It's like my girlfriend used to say, you can be hard or you can be fast. That's in order to do damage to things. They weren't just terrifying sexual deviant. Right, severe. Oh wow, that's... Oh sweet, chicken. I was just going to say that that's definitely not a trap of any form. But magical chicken. So I can go invisible as long as I can find some ingredients. I've very quickly found with this that the best thing to spend your money on is recipes. Although the grenades aren't so good, in my opinion. They're just a little disappointing, like, because they've got the same reel up as everything else. It's really difficult to use them properly. It's not like in some other difficult sword and shield based medieval combat games you could try, in which throwing grenades is quite a quick, easy motion. But this year, your character really has to think about it. He's not in a rush, which is a shame because I usually am. Alright, there's the end of the level. obviously the smart thing to do is go back and retread all the other steps and go down the other routes, isn't it? Extra gold, but I've never been that into being smart. I think you're showing off, basically. I'm just gonna use my cheap potion to become invisible. Oh god, alright, that doesn't count. I'm just disgusting. And I've not even got enough gold to upgrade my health bar. So that has been a phenomenal waste of my time. That's fine. At least I stink. It's all beautiful, yeah, but we'll, that's a problem I have with this, especially on the early levels. Later on you kind of get to play outside, but, on the early levels like this, you descend slowly and get to look at all this beautiful, bizarre landscape, and then spend the next 20 minutes running around a dank cave. You get to see what you're missing out on, which is, I think, the hardest part of it. It was just kind of there. If it wasn't there at all, it wouldn't be as annoying. Yeah, here we go. Like, I don't know who these guys are or why I'd bother to get rid of them. But, I don't know, it's the kind of game where I'm sure something will happen. You know? Oh, okay. It might just be that they drop a lot of money. They certainly do that. Full of known potions. One of them's pink, which was a good time last time, so I'll drink it. Excellent. I think I might have forgotten to get the all-important potion of vigor from that chicken. Pain in the ass later, I'm sure. Hiding up to coffee. See, it's... See, it's full of these little lines, but because there's no real cohesion to it, it's not even it's not actually a joke as well. It's just it's a statement with like humorous inferences, but that's all the game is inferences. Everything is implied, nothing is stated. And while I'm sure that's satisfying for some people, if you're not into like little nudge nudge wink winks to things that questions that don't actually have answers. Like, part of the fun of not knowing is knowing that you could find it out. A mystery is a lot more effective when you trust that someone, whoever gave you the mystery, cared enough to make it answerable. And these a lot of the time don't. They're just not. Go this way. Just don't know what's going on, and there isn't a thing that's going on, really. Like, I might be wrong, I've not actually completed it yet, so there may be some grand payoff, but there's far too many threads, I think, at this point. Oh, a fancy hat. Does that improve my things anywhere? Did well in consumer testing. Well, at least I look cooler. Bet this happened next time. Like, I'd like the things to reference things. I don't... There's a lot of references that are just references. There's no thing that I can find that they're referencing. And it's... I don't know, it makes things... Maybe I'm just being a boring dick. There is always a possibility. It's the first thing I learned as a child. My father was like, Luke, never be Never discount the possibility that you're simply being a boring dick, and it's advice that's served me well thus far. But I don't feel like, oh, this thing. There's not enough information for you to get good and interested, or like conjure a theory as to what these things mean. So they're just things. They're simply things. It's like a Where's Wally book without Wally. It's an exercise in frustration. If you care. If you don't care, of course, they're just weird little things. You don't have to worry about them. And I think that's where this game is going for, but it's up to you if you can, if the idea of a story that refuses to allow you to care about it is something that appeals to you. Designed to be cared about. I think this armor increases my stamina regen. I think that's what's going on here. And if so, it's more useful than any of the armors that just increase your health. Keep the Zulbasir initiate study the way of endless pain. Zulbasir's recruitment efforts often fail to meet targets. See what I mean? Who is Zulbasir? Is Zulbasir's way of endless pain something you can find out a bit more about? If that kind of thing intrigues you, could you use it? Is it possible to create a high-risk DPS character based on the technique? No. No, it's just a thing. Don't think about it. It's just a thing. Taking an ice sword. Like, these things can work. Like, not having a plot, not really having a universe, just having a... like, a basic dungeon crawler can definitely work, but it needs... it needs better jokes, if that's what it's going for, frankly. I absolutely believe that you could build a game like this and have it simply be humour alone. However, I don't think that they've succeeded if that was what they were going for. I know I need to block more. Or less. I'm sure you will have many and varied opinions. Alright. Let's keep going. Alright. I can definitely see the criticisms for the art style, though. Like, I understand that people... It looks easy to put together. You can say about it what you will with regards to the value of simplicity or what have you, but it looks exceedingly easy to put together. And I'm not sure if that's a place in the game's strength, necessarily. Like, I like it, personally. I dig the severity of it. It doesn't matter. It genuinely doesn't matter what the walls look like, because you're in some kind of weird hell pit. Why would you pay attention? I think you could argue that you could interpret this, I suppose, as being the point of view character's memory, or the point of view character's experience of this world, simply because the enemies have janky motion and are like individual, and you know what I mean. They have a texture to them, where the walls don't, because the walls don't matter. They're not important to the story. They're not important to the journey. So they're just there. Severe grayscale barriers, no individuality or mark. Sounds like people are getting mad at me over there. Excellent. That's something to remember as well. Most power attacks do a... That's something I've discovered, by the way. No, most... Tripping over myself here. Most power attacks have a lead up, you have to reel back and take a couple of seconds. But that one, if you just jump and attack down, it's a very quick little eat ice, you motherfuckers kind of thing going on. It's handy. Doesn't to say the power attacks aren't worth doing. I think part of the problem with the... because I've read a lot of criticism about the combat style of this game. Like, it's too basic, and I think it can be basic. I think it doesn't do enough, especially in the early levels. It doesn't do enough to encourage you to not simply spam quick attack, which is boring, and it's also the most obvious way to play it. So there's definitely a criticism to be had there, but I'm not sure that it's entirely the game's fault, or whether part of it simply comes from the fact that the easiest method is also the most boring. But you don't have to simply spam quick attack. You can power attack. You can alternate strong and heavy. Even as I say it, I know that sounds scratching at straws, but I'm enjoying it, is what's happening, and I'm trying to explain why. I don't decide whether I enjoy things based on whether or not I can explain to someone else that I enjoy it. I decide whether I enjoy them based on whether I'm having any fun. I'm having fun. So that seems to be the problem. Good. Another problem with the procedural generation, sometimes it doesn't quite make a lot of sense. Oh, that's a terrible thing to have. I don't know if you noticed that, but for a while there my food items was Balthazar's Paralysis Smoothie. Is it Paralysis? No, Seizure Smoothie. It's a great item if you want to paralyze yourself and then quickly die. Not so great if you have other aspirations for yourself. Let's see what you got. Oh yeah. Yeah, especially in these levels, you've got to watch out for that guy. The big war boss chaps do a ton of damage, especially like this. Yeah, I think part of the problem as well is that it's like the enemies are clearly designed to be faced in groups rather than one at a time. So if you do manage to face them one at a time, there's so little difficulty. You can just club away there and do quite well. Knocking people over is always helpful. It's too easy to cheese the combat. Like, if you can knock them over, and you can knock them over, there's almost no one in this game who you can't throw down with a shield bash. There's not a lot to be worried about from the guys anymore. What we got here? Still no potion of vitality. But a potion of invisibility. Oh, no. Excellent. Yeah, I really think some long-term goals would be helpful, like something to work for that wasn't like 12 tokens of favour, because I got 17, 18 tokens of favour on my first run. simply because I managed to get down quite deep, and like I think the way it works out tokens of favour that you get at the end of a run is simply that it takes how much gold you've made, and like the more gold you make, the more gold it takes you to make another token of favour. But quite early on, like I went down like about 3 levels, I think, and that 3 levels was deep enough for me to get the first like 16 tokens of favour. So on top of the things that I'd made, just the little the objectives that I completed on my way down, I could buy any perk I wanted. So I just bought the most expensive one, because that's what you do if you're ever in a situation where you can buy anything you want without paying for it. You get the most expensive one. Has anyone ever been to a meal they weren't paying for? Anyone who's ever known an open bar, been to a meal who someone else has already agreed to pay for, you buy the most expensive thing on the menu because you are a human being. And that means that you want a steak. And it makes, in a logical world, which is what we deign to believe we live in, the most valuable thing is priced the highest. So naturally you buy the thing that's priced the highest. Nothing wrong with trying to swindle your friends and family. They would do the same for you. And that's where you learned it from, obviously. Is he going to drop a magical one? That's actually interesting. He is gonna. Oh, okay. Right, so it's a hand weapon. I can just fire magic at people. When it eats stamina, but what doesn't? Actually, having played before with a offhand ranged weapon, I've noticed that the game becomes almost trivial at this point. Except for that. Just skip. Excellent. Right me. Come. As you'll notice, my health is going up with every swing, because I've got the vampire perk, and the vampire perk is the most expensive, so I'm working on to do something that's the best, and thus far it's been pretty helpful. I don't know why I'm still carrying around the potion of kicking your own ass. It's not like there isn't enough combination with kicking my ass here. Usually, less talented professional jokesters would make some kind of joke about, don't buy, eating food you found on the floor, is that sanitary? Like the same joke that's been made about Street Fighter and Castlevania approximately 12 quadrillion times at this point. But, and even, in fact, no, I'm an asshole now, because noticing that that joke is overmade is, in itself, part of making that joke. So we're all assholes. We're all in it together. I am circling around. See, now I'm starting to see the origin of the criticism for this game's incredibly, I don't know, incredibly similar art style. I know that that's the exit though, because of my trapped friend. Now I'm starting to see the origin of that criticism. You genuinely don't know where you are at any given moment. Alright. Got some gold, I can upgrade my health. Pray to the gods of dentistry. Yep, see? Teeth McWire. Gotta love the gods of dentistry. Got a sword. Or a plaque. I love the little hermit guy there. See, this guy knows his shit. He's a friend. Fucking balls of dirt. See, my only problem with this guy is that he doesn't sell anything worth a damn. He sells literally nothing worth the idea of fucking buying it. Money in this is... it's pretty much worthless. But it's also the only thing you can connect apart from tokens of favour, and tokens of favour are so goddamn difficult that it's really difficult to muster the enthusiasm, honestly. But anyway, I think I'll leave it here. That has been 2 levels of Necropolis, which is the worst amount of Necropolis to play. I'm dreadfully sorry. I'm sure just down there is a land full of puppies and honeycombs and delightful elf friends who will teach us the magic of friendship and turn our sword into some kind of death laser. But here we are. You get what you're given. It's alright. Go home.